Time frame, images of a generation. We grew up in a simpler time. We sang.
Say, kids, what time is it?
M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E. We laughed.
Hello, boy.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
We cried.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
He's been shot. Lee Oswald has been shot.
We fought. We loved. We were attacked.
Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii by air.
Our flag was still there. Now these memories come to life on posters that can be yours today. Go to howdyboomy.com for your copies today. That's howdyboomy.com. howdyboomy.com.
Welcome to the Howdy Boomy Show. I hope you visit the website, howdyboomy.com. There's memories from the baby boomer generation. Is designated on various posters. The one behind me here has 250 images of the baby boomer generation, everything ranging from Howdy Doody to the Kennedy assassination to Batman to Milk Duds to Ovaltine to the honeymooners. Anything that you remember growing up baby boomer is on this poster. When you get to the website, you could join the Peanut Gallery, as you see next to me here. It's a replica of a bumper sticker you would receive and discounts on future purchases that you will make on the website. And you'll also see videos for each poster that's on the website. And one main video showing what the website is going to be in the very near future. It's going to be a must-go-to website for baby boomers to save money on just everyday purchases all year long. It's like buying a Shoppers Club card, but you could go to any store you want that honors the baby boomer card, which looks like this. It says Boomer on it, as you can see. It's a lifestyle management card. Anything you want to do, any purchase you want to make to the merchants that belong to the Howdy Boomy family will be discounted, from new cars to a cup of coffee at McDonald's. On the poster that's pictured behind me are about 5 or 6 images of that fateful day on November 22nd, 1963, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Now, I was a junior in high school at the time, and as I've said before, that made television news, because all you did during that period of time, he was shot around noon Central Standard Time on a Friday. He was buried on Monday. And in between that time period, you saw the Kennedy family. You saw Lee Harvey Oswald being arrested. You saw Lee Harvey Oswald being shot by Jack Ruby on live television on a Sunday morning. And the famous salute by JFK Jr. to his father's coffin as it passed through the Capitol. But one thing that seems to be common is that they appointed a commission, the Warren Commission, to investigate the assassination. Now, as you looked, Mr. Zapruder was the gentleman who provided the films of the assassination effect in the car as it came down the pathway in downtown Dallas. And as you noticed, they said there was one shooter, Lee Harvey Oswald, but just common sense would tell you, looking at those photographs, in one shot, looks like it hit the front of his head, and he leaned, just shot his head backwards, where his brains were being thrown on the trunk of the car, where a Secret Service agent was grabbing onto Mrs. Kennedy because she was jumping onto the trunk trying to grab the brain parts and put them back to her husband. And that showed you that the law of physics just didn't add up, that there was one shooter behind him. But they used the explanation that it was a spasm from being shot in the brain, that the head would jerk backwards. It just didn't look like that happened. And then you found out that people heard gunshots from behind them, from a grassy knoll that was in front of the motorcade. So there were always, probably to this day, one of the biggest conspiracy theories in the country. But they gave the Warren Commission the task of coming up with the reasons and the whole truth about the Kennedy assassination. And things just didn't add up. It was too convenient for Lee Harvey Oswald to get shot and killed by somebody named Jack Ruby, who had criminal ties to the underground, to the mafia. And a lot of people say the mafia was one of the reasons Kennedy was shot, because they were going after the mafia through his brother Robert, who was the Attorney General. But it just sort of, you didn't begin to trust the government, because evidently they thought that giving the general public information that they possessed would be catastrophic, that we wouldn't understand it. We're not as smart as they are, so we're better off just believing what they say and not worry about a thing. And I think that pervades government to this day. I just don't know what happens when a person who runs for office gets elected, because they run our household just like anybody else would. You have expenses, you have revenue, and yet the country just keeps on spending money and money and money and money that they don't have. And I just understand how that happens, unless they figure that we're just a bottomless pit. The income just never stops. And what's interesting now is that in parallel to the Kennedy assassination, the information and the government sort of giving us what we want to hear, now we're finding out that the COVID illness, the COVID plague that killed over 1 million people in the United States, millions worldwide, originated in a Chinese laboratory. Now, imagine the first years of the Trump administration. Everything was going pretty good. I mean, he had a great economy. He didn't act like a politician. He acted like a businessman who knew what it took for the American family to succeed. He acted as though, unlike his predecessor and unlike his successor, that he really loved the country he was president of. He was president of the United States of America, the citizens, the legal citizens of the United States of America, and he was looking out for their well-being. COVID hits. At a news conference, which they showed the clips recently, someone asked him, a reporter asked him, does he have any evidence that this flu began in China? And he said, yes, I do, but I cannot discuss it right now. Now, he knew. He had the information. The government had the information that this originated in China. And therefore, he started calling it the Chinese flu, the Chinese COVID, the Chinese illness. And the press and his opponents started getting on top of him because he was racist by calling that. They beat him down, they beat him down, they beat him down. It's wrong what he did, it's not right what he did, and he's totally dismissed what he was saying. And now you have CBS News coming out and finding out that, oh, wait a minute, maybe we were wrong, maybe he was right. And think about the information that they had, that the government had, that they did not fully disclose to the American people because of politics. Dr. Fauci, whose wife works for a pharmaceutical company, he lied to our faces. He made a ton of money. He lied to our faces. We are not smart enough, I guess, to comprehend what they're saying, and we're better off not knowing what's going on because the government will take care of us. Don't worry about it. They're in charge. And just imagine how many people would not have lost their lives if we had quarantined China, if we had refused to let people enter the United States from China. But we couldn't do that because the press thought it was racist, and the press seized on this opportunity to find out how much further they could destroy Donald Trump and make sure he never again came into the White House. And that sort of amazes me about how this government cartel that exists today in the United States lies to us. Do you believe James Comey? He was the head of the FBI. He lied. CIA lied. They came up with everything they possibly could because they had a guy in the White House that wasn't one of them. He was not one of the career politicians who know everything about everything, and they guide our policy as they make a ton of money, as they keep on a lifestyle. I don't know if they are in love with the United States or in love with being a representative or a senator in the United States for the rest of their lives because they know what they can achieve. It's amazing that people in government don't trust the people of the United States. It's something that amazes me. I don't trust anybody anymore. There's very few people in the government I trust. I just don't know what happens to a person when they run for office, get into government. It's got to be influence. It's got to be money. It's got to be threats from other people in government. I just wish that when people got in front of the camera, I wish that people got in front of committees, had to take a lie detector test as they were testifying. That's the only way we would get the truth. Because lying is a way in our government. And I just can't understand it. Enjoy the website. Go to howdyboomy.com. Get some memories, great gifts for grandma, grandpa, history buffs, schools, gin mills if you need decorations for the walls. The howdyboomy.com is going to become the go-to website. Enjoy this podcast. I hope I see you tomorrow. And God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.